Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. LoFi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License Lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Joe, I just went to Kittery, Maine. Have you been there?
I love Kittery.
I know.
I lived in Portland for 4 years. Yeah, man.
Oh, I love Portland because I do want to do a show from the Cryptozoology Museum. Do you know that's in Portland, Maine?
I didn't know that was in Portland. Is it really?
Yeah, I think that'll be kind of a fun show.
I got a guy who says we can stay at his house for free.
Really?
Yeah,
go.
He's a former cop. Cool dude, man. Yeah, let's do the road trip. I'm down, Todd.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love going up to Maine. I went to York Beach and stuff. And but I thought something was kind of funny that happened in Kittery. I went to Old Navy. I own no clothes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go spend a couple $100 on clothes. I'm terrible at clothes, so I spent like $250 on clothes, a bunch of shirts, shorts, whatever. And the girl said, "Would you like to buy a bag for 50 cents?" What would you think about that? Would you just think it meant like an extra bag?
Yeah.
I was like, "No, I'm good." She's like, "Okay, here's your clothes."
Oh my
Where
God.
have
Like,
you been, Todd? That's the
What?
standard here in California where you have to buy a bag.
So you just don't get a bag? I'm walking out holding these clothes. I didn't know they meant pay for an actual bag. To put it in.
I'm just picturing this dude walking out with all those clothes.
Jedi, that's what it's like there. You have to pay for a bag.
Yes, it's like 10 cents everywhere you go.
See, I feel like in Connecticut right now, like we get like, especially retail store, like, because I also recently, Todd, after like a 4-year hiatus, I had to go shopping for clothes, dropped about $450. But I think I was at like Kohl's, and they put it in a big old plastic bag.
Yeah.
I don't know if they, they probably charged me for the bag, but I definitely got a bag. So, but yeah, when I go to the grocery store, dude, if I don't bring my canvas bags, then I can pay for plastic or I can get free paper.
Here you definitely get plastic. Wait, you get plastic grocery bags. What there you have to bring? What do you have to bring? Paper.
So you can bring you can buy I go to Stop and Shop it, so they sell like canvas bags, and you just bring your bags in. And you just hand it to the bagger when you're bagging, and they put them in your nice little bags with the little handles. Right. If you don't bring those bags, though, you can pay 10 cents per plastic bag. Or you can take the third option, because we're a pro-choice state. We also, you can for free just get paper bags. But as you could imagine, they're paper.
Yeah.
I've had zero luck with it every single time when I bring the bags home. One of the bags, absolutely, usually the ones with the beans in it. No chance. No chance.
Yeah. That's funny. So, Jedi, what are some things going on in the news this week? I haven't really been paying attention.
Oh, the one that disturbed me the most is that I saw that in actuality for the Uvalde shooting in Texas, there were like 400 cops on site.
I started watching that video and I shut it off, but I didn't know there was that many.
Yes, and so it makes me mad. It makes me really mad. And I saw the video of a cop whose wife was a teacher there, and he tried to advance, but they pulled him back and also took away his gun. So he could not even go in and save his wife, who texted him that she was shot.
What,
I
did she
mean,
make it?
I don't know if she made it or not, but
You don't
she was
usually get
shot.
shot with an AR-15 and
Yeah.
live to talk about it, so I'd
Yeah.
say probably not. Dude, if that was me, I would have probably turned my gun on those dudes and been like, I'm going to go in there. Y'all
Yeah.
can stay out here. I'll catch you later.
Exactly.
No,
And if you saw the videos, they were just standing there. They had all their gear, they had their shields, they had their bulletproof vests. I mean, to me, this was total failure on law enforcement.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Jedi, I saw that teacher that lost all 11 of his students.
Oh my gosh. That was so sad.
Yeah, so that's bullshit, that whole thing. I mean, everyone knows those people are cowards. Now, was it, so it's not the police officer's fault? Was it like the captain or whatever? Or the
Well,
sergeant?
I guess they were all waiting for the go ahead, but in that case, in real time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why not go in?
One of the guys on the scene was trained to be like the on-site commander in a situation, like a SWAT kind of situation. And he basically just was like, nah, I'm not in charge of this.
Oh
and just made the assumption, like, since Border Patrol was there, like, there's higher ranking people than me. I don't want to go in there. And he just sat back and everybody just was kind of like,
I'll sit back too.
You're
yeah, well, nobody's in charge. We're all just kind of standing around waiting for orders. Yeah, nobody gave an order. And so they didn't. Shocking. Like 400 cops, trigger happy police officers. We're like, what do we do? You know, I'll just say this. Let me just put it out there. If the Uvalde shooter was black, they would have 400 cops would have gone in there and they would have fired about 30,000 rounds at that dude.
You know what? Sadly, I believe that. You know, sadly, I believe what you're saying, you know.
Todd, the white guy always gets taken into custody and the black guy always dies. That's just kind of the way it goes in this country.
And that
it should just be kill them all.
But
you mean the bad guys, right?
No, I mean, like the shooter, obviously.
Yeah, of course it should. Listen, the Parkland guy's on trial. I was on a show last night, Speaking It Real, and the guy in the show was like, he's like, we should just kill the guy now, and I was like, well, tap the brakes, buddy. Tap the brakes, right? I mean, due process. We know the guy did it. The evidence is pretty overwhelming. He pleaded guilty. As would have it, so it's not like they need to have a trial, but he's got to be found guilty and sentenced, and then we'll decide if we're going to set him on fire or whatever. Like, again, this is my concern, right? This whole thing with the Roe v. Wade and the due process and the privacy clause. It's like we still have rights in this country. Like, even the bad guys. As despicable as they are, that's the system we have, right? And we don't like people that hurt children. Todd, are a special kind of evil, and the penalty should be more severe for those people. But we still have to go through the court process,
See, yeah, I don't like that. This is when I think like the third world countries do something better than we do. You know what I mean? I like being like, get that guy. I like what that guy said. When it comes to something like this bad,
that is the basic. I mean, dude, think about this, right? The first written laws are from 8,000 years ago. Hammurabi's Code. Eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Like, they got together as a society. It's like, if you fuck up, you're done. We're not messing around. If we're going to live as a group, everybody's got to follow the same rules. And over the centuries, we've gotten, a little more liberal with society. People can kind of do whatever they want, and it starts to infringe on other people, and that's where you start running into trouble.
I'm always amazed, like the marathon shooter, with Tsarnaev, he gets shot, and then like the people at the hospital are trained to like, we need to save this guy's life, even though he's like the worst human being, and they're trained to be like that, and they can't be like, okay, he's a piece of shit, just let him go.
Right. Well, that's the Hippocratic Oath is you do. I mean, you would, if somebody murdered your mother and got shot and you were the attending doctor, I mean, yeah, you have to save that dude. That's what you swore you would do.
Right.
And listen, ultimately, it comes down to integrity. Like, and some of us have it and live by it, and the scumbags of society don't. Do we sink to their level?
Right. That's a good point. So, Jedi, the other thing in the news I wanted to point out was, can you believe how pale Elon Musk is? Have you seen those pictures, Joe? He looks like a vampire. I've never seen anyone look like that.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, when we were waiting for you, Jedi, we were talking about between Elon Musk, Nick Cannon, and like Tristan Thompson, like all the kids they're having.
Yeah. I mean, before, not so long ago, it's like, don't have kids. I don't want a baby's mama. Now it's like, who cares? Have all the kids. I want 20 kids. That's my legacy.
And that's so weird, man. That's a weird thing. Like Nick Cannon is like really excited about having all those kids. One died, he just went and had like 2 more, whatever. You don't care.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's weird, dude. I don't know. Listen, I love my kids. I have 4, right? 2 older, 2 younger. And I don't get to spend as much time with the older ones because they have a life. Now I spend time with the little ones. I mean, I just finished watching some docuseries about the Mormons, the Latter-day Saints. 32 kids. Where would you find the time to form a bond? Todd, I know you love your daughters to death. What if you had like 25 daughters?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, how well would you know any of those kids?
Right. Like, could you imagine starting over right now with a newborn?
That's my worst fear.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no way.
So before we get to the topic, I just wanted to, Jedi was telling me about something and I want to hear about it. What did you tell me about Prince Harry?
Oh, did you see the video where he's giving a speech at this UN conference and no one was there?
I think that's so funny because I cannot stand the royal family. So he was here, Jedi?
He was saying some kind of speech regarding Nelson Mandela. He totally missed the mark, and then how we should run our country, basically. And it was just so bizarre, and it was so funny because hardly anyone was there in the audience. It was like maybe 10 people. So,
that's funny.
I mean, who is his PR person? I mean, that was a disaster.
I'm so
That's
glad
hilarious.
people are like over the British royal family. I've never understood the obsession with that. Like, read a history book. That should be like our arch enemies. I don't know why we're so close and why we worship them so much. It's stupid.
I totally agree, though. People are coming to their senses. No one cares anymore. If that was 20 years ago or something, it probably would have been a packed crowd.
Oh, yeah, of course it would. Dude, I remember as a kid watching Charles and Diana's wedding. And my mom made such a big deal about it. And like within the next couple of years, I was like, you should hate those people, no? You could burn the White House down in 1812. I don't know why we're like all excited about them.
He no longer has his title anymore. So he's not fascinating. He's a regular person now.
Just a regular schlub. I love it. That's the ultimate. Isn't that the ultimate like penalty? The punishment for that guy, the life of privilege that he lived and abused. And it's like, now, dude, you're a fucking loser. Enjoy.
Yeah, and he probably like wanted this life, but now that he's here, he's like, oh no, I want
It's so
that life back.
terrible.
Yeah.
You can't have. What's up, Morks? Crimes, conspiracies, and beyond here. And it's hot today. Jedi Todd and producer Joe back again. The man of the hour needs no introduction. We've gotten to know him through his father, his exposed secret dealings with political leaders, revealing videos and photos, and also through his artistic talents, whose art rivals the great Picasso. Who is this, you may ask? Hunter Biden, of course, but we really want to know what's in his laptop.
Jedi, every once in a while, I think we throw in an episode like the Animal Kingdom one where I think it gets Joe a little excited. Hunter Biden, politics, Ukraine. This is right up your alley, isn't it, Joe?
Yes. I did a show a little bit. Did a show earlier tonight, and we did talk about this laptop. And here's my thing. Look, this is a lot like the Trump investigation, where there's been so much corruption and manipulation of things that to really figure out what happened, it's hard because, again, in the case of Trump Russia, the illegal FISA court warrant that started the investigation in the first place was done illegally. So everything beyond that is out the window. Now, here's what I can tell you about the Hunter Biden laptop. They've been able to verify 1,800 out of the 22,000 emails that were on that laptop. Mm-hmm. Forensic experts say this thing's a disaster. Since Hunter Biden dropped that laptop off at that shop in Delaware, it has been in the hands of many people. At least 6 people have signed into that computer and downloaded information. And they're at this point still not sure if hackers may have gotten their mitts on this thing as well. Rudy Giuliani made a copy of the hard drive. There are 3 folders in particular I'd like to tell you about that were found on the computer, and these files were added after the laptop was dropped off. The first one is called Biden Burisma.
Yep.
The second one, my favorite one, Salacious Pick Package.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, you're not going to name it Biden Burisma.
You have to believe that all liberals are the dumbest fucking people in the world. And if you believe that, and most people who buy an Hunter Biden laptop, they already think that. Yeah. So, it seems feasible a stupid liberal would call it Salacious Pick Package. There's a good chance these guys did something wrong. And I don't believe Joe Biden when he says they never talked business.
Right.
Now, what does talking business mean, though, Jedi? Does it mean I was giving you financial advice? We were talking about the numbers, or are we at dinner? And I'm like, hey, how's work? You're in a weird spot where, like, you can't really prove what their conversations were. But my other thing is this. Listen, if there was something damning on that laptop, and they've had this thing since the March before the election, it's a lot of time to crack into that thing. If there was something on there, you would have dropped it, I don't know, before the election.
Yeah, they had it for like 18 months.
Yeah, what would it even do now to Joe? You want Kamala Harris to be president? What's the end game to this? But again, forensic experts are like, this thing, the smoking gun, this amazing piece of evidence has been corrupted so much by the people trying to nail this guy that it's completely unreliable. And so
but
if there
on the
are
other
things
hand,
on there, we don't know if they're real or not. And so they're going to end up getting away with stuff because of the aggressive attempts by Trump and Giuliani to get their hands on this thing.
well, on the other hand, others are saying that nothing was added onto it. So, I mean, like you were saying earlier, there was so much confusion. No one knows what the real story is anymore.
Yeah.
And we're never going to find out. It's just like Trump Russia. Listen, the optics on the Trump Russia thing don't look good. Like, they had a lot of meetings with the Russians and they forgot to mention all of them until they were pressed to. And then they had 122 meetings they suddenly remembered. And then there was the whole investigation that was going on as well, right? You have to assume some of that was real. And whatever was corrupted by the Democrats or the Steele dossier, it made the whole case so confusing. It's like, we're never going to know now what happened. Some of this evidence is completely tainted. I don't know what I can rely on. And I find you're going to be in the same spot with this Hunter laptop, where if there was something to find, I think they would have found it already. Like, there's nothing damning in there at this point. I don't know what kind of folder they're going to find in there, Todd. Like the look in this folder, it's going to be called. And that's going to be like some damning dude. There's like a video of him smoking crack.
Right.
I think that's as bad as it got. Really. I think
Joe,
it's
It's
that.
crack on a scale.
Joe, they might as well have had a folder named gay porn or something.
Right? Like, dude, at this point, I'm telling you, they had this laptop. If there was something to show, I can't imagine they wouldn't have done it. It would have really helped them before the election. I also mentioned Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell claims that he's sitting on tons of evidence of voter fraud in the 2020 election. It's like, bro, it's 2022 and there's people on trial for the January 6th insurrection. If you have something to show us, just show us now. Stop talking about it. So I have to assume, based on the fact that 2 years in, Mike Lindell's like, wait till you see it. And there isn't anything, or he would have shown it to us. So that's going to be another one of those stories where, because of the crazies, you're not really ever going to know what's going on.
Yeah,
Right.
Jedi, I was going to say to you, like, when I did all this research at the end, I was kind of like, this wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be on here, but it's still kind of interesting to talk about. So we were saying earlier, it's amazing knowing that Hunter Biden is just a drug addict and alcoholic, all the boards he got in and how underqualified he was.
All right. I spoke on that earlier. He's got an MBA. He was a lawyer. He worked for the U.S. Commerce Department. George W. Bush, Republican president, 2007, named him the director of Amtrak.
But didn't he get help getting into college?
They say that about every important person's kid, and he probably did. I mean, look at the big college admission scandal. That stuff happens every day. Is it? I mean, again, it's illegal. You want to put Joe Biden in jail for 10 months? Okay. You know what I mean? Again, what we're talking about is, did Joe Biden reap in millions of dollars in illicit deals with Ukraine and or China? Because if he did, that should be investigated and he should be impeached and he should be arrested. But if we're talking about, like, did this kid smoke crack? You know, I will admit he had no connection to Ukraine and he had no connection to the energy sector. So I will say, not that he was underqualified. He wasn't qualified in that field, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's Joe Biden's son, so you might give that guy a chance. But he was a lawyer. He passed the bar. It's not like this guy was some knucklehead like C student, you know. He was a pretty successful guy before he got into crack.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
and then slept with his dead brother's wife.
Yeah,
let's not forget that.
But if the three of us were lawyers, we wouldn't be on these boards. I mean, he has the Biden name.
Right. Well, exactly.
Which is a nice, yeah.
Listen, I don't want to bring it up for the comparison, but I mean, dude, Trump's kids are in all sorts of trouble right now for fraud and stuff, as is he. But you know that these people certainly get opportunities that we never would. It happens with Democrats and Republicans and movie stars, whatever. I mean, that's the way this society unfortunately operates. So yeah, he would not have gotten that opportunity if not for the name.
Right.
Now the problem is did he get the job for the connection? Because that would be something completely different. And again, if there was some evidence of that and someone were to show that, then that should be thoroughly investigated.
Right. And there's a good chance that probably is the case, whether there's
I would
evidence or
think
not.
so.
Yeah. I mean, everyone
dude,
probably
this
does
guy,
that.
right? Listen, this guy didn't
Right?
move to Ukraine and get all that money, like, because his dad was like, "Oh, I don't know, son. See what happens." You know.
Well, you know my theory, right? Did Todd
What's that?
text you my theory, the video?
Did not, but I do want to hear it.
It's Todd. You didn't text the video that I sent, the rush hour.
I don't even know. I don't even remember what it was. Hang on. So Joe, obviously. Oh, I'm sorry, Jedi. Yeah, I actually like somehow missed this. Do you want me to send to Joe now?
Yeah.
So
It's
Joe, you
just
can edit this
13
out.
Seconds. Yeah, it's just 13 seconds, Joe, but it's perfect.
Joe, email or text?
Email.
All right, hang on. Sorry about that. I don't know how I missed this. Copy. Let's see. All right. So do you just want to keep going? Oh, actually, let me see, Joe. I completely missed that Jedi. I don't know how. Okay. It's coming. Do you want to like play it so that the whole thing kind of flows, or do you want to add it later?
Yeah, hang on, because I can. This is you
So
said
he knows what
13
it is.
seconds.
Yeah.
Dude, I can download this super fast. Hang on.
Jedi, and then what we can do is we can talk about how the whole laptop thing started, about how he dropped it off to the shop.
Yeah.
I got all that right here, so.
All right, it just downloaded. Now let me upload it.
Once you see it, you're gonna know what it is.
I just saw it. I just saw it as I was downloading it, and I'm already laughing about it. All right. Do you wanna call for it, or how do you want to do this? Do you want me to just play it and edit
I'll
it?
just say, and do you know what my theory is, right, Joe?
I don't know what your Yeah. Do that again.
You know what my theory is, right, Joe?
Lee, let me introduce you to Carter's theory of criminal investigation. Follow the rich white man.
Follow the rich white man?
Exactly, now you're learning. Every big crime has a rich white man behind it waiting for his cut.
That's funny.
And we all know who that white guy is.
Oh, I love it. Oh God, that was great.
Yeah. So let's talk about how the laptop even got to the store. So this is kind of something that I kept finding different. Sorry, Joe. We're putting you to work today. You got to edit this out. I'm trying to think how to word this. So Jedi, looks like the laptop was dropped off in April of 2019. Now I've heard different reports. I heard the guy, what was his name? Mac Isaac. He said that Hunter Biden brought it in. Then I saw other reports saying that's not true. He didn't know that till after. What did you hear on that?
I heard the same thing, and I also heard that there was video, but then there was not video. He actually didn't see him. The laptop was dropped off, and then that John Paul Mac Isaac, his full name, said they said that he changed his story several times, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, even that is just up in the air too.
Right. Now, Joe, do you know who Will Kane is?
Yes.
Well, I watched Mac Isaac on Will Kane's podcast, and he said clear as day. He said his name was Biden. I wrote it down, and I said first name Hunter. And then he put two and two together because I guess the laptop had a Beau Biden sticker on it. But I don't know why he said it. He said that his name was Hunter Biden, and then, like I said, I heard other things saying that he didn't even know until he called him to go over whatever he was doing with it. So it is kind of sketchy that that's not clear as day.
Yeah, listen, this guy had a story, and then he met Rudy Giuliani, and then he had 3 stories. And generally, wherever Rudy Giuliani is, comes the bullshit. And he generally throws stuff at the wall to see what fits. And generally, the multiple excuses aren't compatible. He found stuff on the computer that he thought appeared to be criminality. Involving, I'm sorry, you own a laptop repair shop in Delaware. You would be able to watch a video and you would know what? That to me doesn't even make any sense at all. I can understand if you're like, dude, there was like child porn on there when I went through that computer, so I called the FBI. It's like, I saw this white guy meeting with some Europeans, must be some kind of espionage operation. No, that doesn't sound like a thing that happened.
Yeah, so he was told to recover the data. So what you look for is irreplaceable stuff like pictures and videos. You don't look for like a paper or something because you can redo that. And I guess when he was going through it, he's like, I guess the big thing, if you ask 95% of people, name something on the Hunter Biden laptop, they'll always say like smoking crack, you know what I mean? The whores. That's what people know it for. I think, don't you?
Yeah.
But to
Yeah,
me,
it's
there's
funny.
only one Charlie Sheen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I read Isaac was like confused as to why they didn't bring up the Biden laptop at Trump's first impeachment hearing. Because it has nothing to do with the other thing. One has zero to do with the other. So that's why.
So in April 2019, Joe Biden was just a past vice president. Did they know at that point that he was going to be running for president?
No, he was not. He was like publicly declared not to run. And so no, he was standing aside at the time. They had to drag this guy into the race.
So, I mean, I kind of think that gives Mac some credibility because that could be a reason why he held on to it. It probably wasn't that important at the time. He's a Trump supporter. So he was probably like, I want to help Trump. I'm going to give this to the FBI now.
No, but
Like,
didn't Mac Isaac, he got it because Hunter didn't pick it up. He just left it there. And then I guess depending on the protocol for the shop, you have so many days to pick up your merchandise from repair. And if not, the shop owns it.
Yeah, he signed the paperwork 90 days. It's kind of like those storage containers. You ever see those storage wars and stuff? If you don't like pay your bill for so long. Yeah, so you get 90 days to pick it up, and he just literally never picked it up. It was $85.
So he's got all this damning evidence about his father, the former vice president of the United States, and evidence that could put him in jail for the rest of his life. And he dropped it off at a laptop repair shop and was like, just leave it with that guy. Again, that doesn't seem in the least bit feasible as to that's how that laptop got there.
It does.
Yeah, I know.
Fair enough. You know what's more likely? That a crackhead would sell his laptop to an unidentified person who would then go drop that laptop off at the repair shop for money. That sounds like what probably happened. And that's why the guy felt like it was his computer because he bought it. So nobody dropped it off. That's probably what really happened.
So
everything we know about this story, what I just told you, and I've never heard anybody say that before, that jives out 100 times more than the BS story they're telling you.
Yeah, I mean, someone could have came in and said their name was Hunter Biden because he's
true.
You know the guy's blind, right, Mac Isaac?
Yeah, which is hilarious, dude. Not for nothing. If Hunter Biden jumped on with us right now, I wouldn't know it was him unless he had the thing that said Hunter Biden.
Wait a second.
Right.
I don't even know if I know what he looks
blind?
like.
How is he fixing computers?
Well, I know he can only see like 4
Hey,
to 8 inches.
don't be discriminatory.
I'm not. You have to see.
He's
right?
blind. He's not stupid.
I know, Jedi. It is kind of funny. Now, all you need to know about Hunter Biden. Now, Joe, we're roughly the same age as Hunter Biden, a little bit younger.
Yep.
Do you know what his password was?
No.
So, I mean, it's unbelievable that an adult, the password was anal fuck 69. Who does that?
Oh, gosh.
So supposedly the theory is he said, "What's the password?" And Hunter Biden said, like, "Excuse me for this," and he told him what the password was. So yeah, I mean, what grown adult? I mean, you can see if you're like a 16-year-old kid or something.
So here's also why I don't buy that at all. It took the government months to get into that computer.
No, because Mac Isaac started working on it right away that day, so he knew the password. He got in it that day. What do you mean it took them months?
I
The
don't
fact
know,
that
dude.
it didn't have any symbols, numbers, or anything. I mean, it had numbers, but it should have been fairly easy to crack, right, Joe?
Yes.
That's what you're trying to say.
100%. And so I'm confused as to how this was so difficult for the FBI to access all this information if they already had the password.
Yeah, I didn't come across anything like that they had to crack it. I was under the impression when the FBI took it, they just gave him a hard drive.
Right. Again, if that had been the case and there was stuff on it, you would have heard about it like days later.
Yeah, someone would have sold this information to any media, right? Or WikiLeaks even.
Oh my
WikiLeaks.
God. Dude, imagine what OAN would have paid for something like this. Good Lord. Yeah, dude. Alex Jones, he would have loved something like that. Lifetime supply of vitamins. Whew.
So, now, Joe, when I read about the Biden-Ukraine conspiracy, is that Burisma? And if it is, can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So again, this was an energy company. I think everybody by now knows Ukraine, well known in that sector. They're big producers of energy. And Hunter somehow landed a gig there at Burisma and made a lot of money doing that. Now, generally speaking, when an American moves to a foreign land, and if you have a famous last name, I think one would expect a fairly sizable amount of money. He did leverage the fact that he was the vice president's son while he was interviewing for the job and told them he could probably get them a meeting with his father, which is not illegal, you know, unless Joe Biden used his influence to do something. I know they're trying to allege that Joe Biden forced out the corrupt prosecutor in Ukraine that everybody wanted to get rid of, who eventually got fired. And right-wing media has been this is where this all started. This was Joe Biden did this because, again, right? Why go after Obama at that point, Todd? He was done. He's not running again. He did his 2 terms. Joe Biden's a likely presidential candidate. Everybody knew he was going to give Hillary the nod in 2016. So he wasn't really on the radar. And then in 2020, they initially thought Hillary was going to run again. And then Bernie stepped up, and that's when everybody got freaked out. Hillary was like, yeah, I'm not doing it. And next thing you know, Biden jumped in. They just did it so Bernie wouldn't run. This was a more stopping Bernie and Trump than it was about Biden. He was the safe pick. That's ultimately why they settled on Joe Biden. So no, I don't listen. No one's ever considered Joe Biden to be intelligent or a doer or a mover or shaker. When I was a hardcore Republican back in the early 2000s, Todd, I used to make fun of Joe Biden. Do you know why? Mm-hmm. Joe Biden, when he was in a senator, was the poorest senator of the 100 people there. At one point, he was the only senator who only owned one home.
Right, that's pretty poor.
And it's not even that nice of a house. I've always thought this guy was a moron.
Yeah.
He's never been a big player. So again,
Right. Even right now, like
you know what I'm saying, dude?
yeah.
I'll take a Kennedy any day of the week if I'm trying to
Yeah.
get in with the Democrats, or get me a Bush if I want to get in with the Republicans. Nobody's like, dude, the Bidens. That's where we want to make our move.
Yeah. Even you, Joe, you're huge into politics. Do you know any huge Biden like supporters that like love the guy? Yeah.
No, his approval rating is 39%. His strong approval rating, people who strongly feel he's doing a good job, 16%.
I was gonna say teens, probably.
So
So
you're talking about George Bush, like 2003, 6 months after we invaded Iraq numbers. Like that's how bad it is right now for Joe Biden. Yeah.
So wasn't the problem that there was emails from Hunter to Burisma saying that they were going to meet with his dad, but then Biden said that his son never had any talks with him about business dealings?
Yeah. So, and this is kind of what the controversy is we don't know if those emails are real. I read the timestamps seem to match up. They can't authenticate the email signature. And so again, because so many people have accessed this computer who shouldn't have, since it was taken into possession, it's so compromised. You just don't know. Again, dude, right? Burisma Biden folder. Like he didn't make that one. Come on. And so, dude, it makes you question the integrity of every single thing that is on that laptop. You can't know, dude. Hackers are really good. And this is where the issue lies. Again, do I believe Joe Biden didn't discuss business with his son? Well, what did they talk about? Not his drug problem. I feel like that was kind of being ignored, Right. I don't know.
And the only guy that knows the truth can't see.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, I it's funny that when you said he was blind, I forgot he was blind until you said that, because I remember when I first heard that, and it's like, the guy saw him come in, and you're like, oh, damn. Well, yeah, I mean, he's blind, but he definitely said he saw him.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Good one, guys. Really? The shopkeeper's
That's why
blind.
I was confused, because like we were talking earlier, I read that he saw him on some occasions, right? And then now I didn't realize.
But Jen, I think about it again. If this was definitively, we knew it was Hunter that dropped it off,
right,
and didn't pick it up. We 100% knew the laptop came directly from him and not from somebody else. Like 80% of the doubt about what's on that laptop would be alleviated. Right? Then you could look and see basically, because again, like I said, I mean, the things that have been added since after the laptop was taken by the FBI is obvious, and no one's fooled by it. So we know people have been messing with it, and you can timestamp so far, but now again, you've got a very compromised laptop, which again leaves open the idea of you might find stuff. Can you definitely authenticate it? Do you know somebody didn't hack that and create that document and put it in there?
What about the signature on the claim receipt for the computer store? Hunter, if there really was Hunter, he would have had to fill that out and sign it.
Yeah, we should put that claim receipt up on social media. That's out there. I'll throw that up there. He got $50K a month from Burisma, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And he blew everything on drugs and hookers and stuff, Jedi. You see how much money he went through? He was always broke.
Yeah.
So another thing I found interesting, he wanted to go to the FBI, Mac Isaac, but he was terrified to go in Delaware. So he had his dad do it in New Mexico. Did you see that, Jedi?
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand too. Like if you're this well connected and something is wrong with your laptop that has incriminating evidence, why would you just go to some random computer guy and have it fixed? Why wouldn't you get your connections to look at it, say this is, top secret, don't show anyone, it could destroy us all. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of this doesn't pass the smell test at all. I mean, seriously. Again, the most likely scenario is a crackhead sold a laptop to some rando who went and sold it for cash.
Jed, I put that on my notes earlier. Like the one thing I didn't believe is exactly what we're talking about now. Hunter Biden. Why would Hunter Biden care that much? You don't bring it to a complete stranger knowing what he could do with it. I mean, it does make no sense.
I mean,
but again, if you believe, and you've been told to believe, that liberals are stupid, like, subhumans, then that makes all the sense in the world.
So what ended up happening when Mac Isaac's dad went to the FBI in New Mexico? They just kind of ignored him. And about 2 weeks later, the FBI showed up into the computer shop with a subpoena, and they took it away. And they said, if anyone comes looking for the laptop, you let us know, and we'll get it back to them in a few days. They said, just stall them. That's what the FBI supposedly said to Mac Isaac. Now, I do believe that, because I don't think you could just make this stuff up. Wouldn't the FBI come forward or something and saying this guy is full of crap?
How do you know it was the FBI and not Men in Black? You know what I'm saying?
Again, I like to assume that if the FBI had taken possession of that computer on the day you said they did, and they had the password, as you said, it was, one more time?
Anal fuck 69.
Yeah. I just want to hear you say that one more time tonight. Thank you for doing that. They had the computer, they had the password, and they knew Hunter Biden was the one that dropped it off. And for 18 months, nothing. Just nothing. Nothing noteworthy on there. Don't forget who the president was when they had the laptop. Don't forget who was running the Justice Department at the time. They had every reason in the world, again, with the password and the laptop. If there was things on there, you would have known it already. There would have been no reason for them to sit on it. Again, like, to me, that a lot of that QAnon stuff, dude, they're constantly like moving the goalposts. Like, the big reveal was supposed to happen Friday, and it didn't happen. And they're like, your Q says it's going to be in 2 weeks from Friday. We messed up the date. And it's like, dude, how many times are they going to cancel that big reveal before you're like, you're bullshitting me, aren't you? There is no Q.
Right. I know. Now, Joe, I'm going to say something, and I want you to tell me if you know what I'm talking about. When I say October surprise, do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, do you think it's more powerful to let this out right before the voting? Is that why they sat on it? Or
no? No. Again, listen, this was meant to be an October surprise in the 2020 election. And they had it for 18 months. Plenty of time if there was something on there. Now, they bring the story back up. I think the three of us have disagreed on different things we've heard about this story, because there's a lot of bullshit out there about the story.
Right.
Especially from right-wing media. They want this to be a really big thing, and it's not. The timing of it is meant to be October surprise-ish. The idea that the big reveal will happen in October, but Todd, these people have had a history the last 4 years of, I thought the Clintons were going to jail with Obama and the Democratic pedophiles like Oprah and Tom Hanks. When's that shit happening?
Right.
When is Trump taking office again? I thought that was, they keep saying things and people keep believing it. Yeah. And then it doesn't happen. And it's like, do you want to know why none of these things are actually happening? They keep saying stuff and then they don't deliver, and you don't ask questions. You're like, all right. There's some people, again, the same people who think liberals are that stupid that Hunter Biden handed in a laptop, literally with salacious picture package, and I'm sure some real damning evidence there. He's like, here, take my laptop. Because liberals are so dumb. And there's a lot of people that are going to buy into that. And this is exactly the reason why. There's a lot of misinformation out there. But again, this was the 2020 October surprise. And it's being repackaged for 2022. I don't know if you noticed, but Fox News the other day, they've already got another one of those Mexican caravans coming. Every election, Fox News finds a bunch of Mexicans hanging out, and they're like, they're coming to the suburbs. They're going to rape your daughters. Stop it already. Just stop it.
All the news stations, it doesn't matter what side, they're just so awful.
Dude, it's all frantic, crazy. It's the end of the world and all that crazy. Like, I told you guys my theory about, I think the Democrats let Roe v. Wade get overturned.
I know. That's so
because it is the only way you're not going to get crushed with 9.1% inflation.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
help us get your rights back. Keep us in office.
Right.
Didn't you guys just let us lose them? You've got the majority in both houses and the presidency. I don't know.
But sadly too, crack cocaine and hookers, that's not scandalous anymore. It's just a Friday night, with social media. We see that all the time.
I hate to say this, you're not going to like this, but Donald Trump really kind of normalized that whole thing. Not the drugs, because he's not a druggy guy or a drinker, to his credit. But this is again, think back to 2004, Howard Dean. Rah!
That guy.
You're done. That guy hasn't been on TV since.
Yeah, right.
We locked that guy up. Now, dude, Trump has normalized all of this stuff to where, like, dude, remember when Me Too started and they Al Franken, you gotta go. And they were like, Trump, you gotta go. He's like, I'm not going. Forget about it. And then all the other dudes were like, oh, yeah, I guess you just could say, no, I'm not doing it. And because we're men.
Yeah.
Screw that. And that was the end of it. Like, that just sort of fizzled out, and it ended with an Amber Heard turd, which was a real shame. BT Dubs, last thought from me, last original thought of the night, if you don't mind. I told you this a few weeks ago, Jedi. You saw today the vote in Congress. 96% of Republicans voted against keeping contraceptives legal in the United States.
Really?
The bill passed. Yes, 96% of the Republican caucus voted against that bill. They want to take away contraceptive next. I'm telling you,
man.
You guys didn't want to believe it. I told you a couple weeks ago they were coming for Griswold versus Connecticut. That's the court case. Yep.
See, this
no
is
more
like
contraceptive,
why?
brother. You want to shack up with the old lady tonight? We'll see what happens tomorrow, buddy. You could be starting over with an infant, and there's nothing you can do about it because this is America.
It is funny how because everyone's just like a sheep and they just follow what they're told to follow and they don't have an original thought in their head. Do you think they really all want that? No, there's no way. I don't think.
I can't explain where their minds are at. This seems to be pandering to the craziest of the crazy Christian conservatives. As if the blowback on overturning Roe v. Wade isn't bad enough. Now this, which is exactly what they've been saying they were going to do. This is what liberals are like. The conservatives are going to overturn all this stuff. People are like, nah, they can't do that. They're working on the second one now. It won't be long till they try to take gay marriage back. And again, for people on the right, they're like, I don't care. Keep rolling over. Keep rolling over, dude. You don't think yours are up next? Once they subjugate one side, what do you think? That you think you're going to elevate it to the big club? Then you become the problem.
That is
this is very short-sighted by a lot of people right now. They're playing their hand. They're playing their hand, and they're showing everybody. And a lot of people to the right, Jedi, are okay with it. A lot of people who talk about freedom and liberty are okay with rights getting taken away. And again, when it becomes something that hits home, you guys are going to hate it. And I'm going to be like, I've been telling you this for months. The warning's been there.
That is
Scary.
Disappointing. I mean, I can't believe it. Why? What is wrong with protection and contraceptive? Some women need, birth control pills to regulate their ovulation. It's a medical necessity.
Well, you're not in charge of your own body, so I'll tell you what you're taking.
So, but Joe, we're living in a time where one side doesn't want the other side to win. So even if a lot of Republicans don't agree with it, they'll be like, yeah, the left is going to lose this one. Like, well, wait a minute. I kind of want that.
Crazy. Thing to go. What about the people, the American people? That's what they should be focused on.
Do you think either side cares about the people?
No, that's the sad thing. I want to believe in that dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, listen, they tell both sides when you get there, Schumer and McConnell, they pull you right aside and you're not fighting for the people. You're fighting for the party. You're fighting for the party platform. You're fighting for us to win votes.
I hate politics.
You're not there to serve your constituents. And the problem is I say Schumer, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And I say McConnell, and you know what I'm talking about. They've been in power for too long, and it's a game to them. These people are multi-millionaires, all of them. Even Joe Biden now, after 40 years of public service. Yeah. Most of these guys do it in 2 years. It took him like 45 years.
Yeah, what does he have, 2 houses now?
Yeah, he does. He's up to 2 homes. It's a small cottage, but he's trying. Dude, how about Bernie, by the way? I love Bernie Sanders, but when Bernie bought like a $350,000 lakeside property while he was bitching about the 1%ers, it's like, Bernie, are you serious, dude? Really? You thought now was the time to buy another home?
Right.
What do you mean 350,000? You mean more than that, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I thought you were saying it was expensive. Yeah.
Well, for Bernie, $350 for a second home?
Yeah.
Bernie's not supposed to have money to burn like that. He's a sensible guy. And it was like, dude, again, there's nothing wrong with him buying that. You're right. That's not an expensive house, especially one that you're not going to be staying at, but for a couple weeks a year. But his whole push was, and again, I called out the BS from anybody, dude. You're talking about the 1% and people having extra homes that they don't need, and then you went and literally bought one.
Right.
Come on, man. Jesus. Like, even the good guys can't do this shit right. Even the good ones, they still don't get it. Because, Todd, we talked about this. You give them the power, it doesn't matter what party they're in. You give people power, it goes to their head. This is a big game to them right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as long as they've got us all arguing about it, they've got us all right where they want us. But again, to people on the right, if you don't think when they're done rolling over the left that they're not coming for you next, I don't think you understand how this all works.
So before we get to Rudy Giuliani, I do want to tell you something when we were talking about how bad the news is. I go to the store all the time, and this guy's a huge, huge conservative, and he loves talking about it. And it was like 2 months ago, Joe. I'm like, what do you think about this, that? He goes, I just heard Trump is going to get some more votes in Georgia. I'm like, oh my God, this has been over for almost 2 years. He's still like trying to find a way. People are insane.
That Secretary of State in Georgia came through. We got the votes. Yes. And it's like, bro, I don't know if you know this or not, but he needs votes from Georgia.
Right.
He needs votes from Arizona.
Yeah.
He needs votes in Philadelphia. Like, it's not just Georgia. This didn't come down to just Georgia. Dude, yeah, last night I was doing a show. And this dude, and again, you know, I'm a facts guy. I got no agenda here. But I got into it with a Trump supporter last night. And I was like, dude, listen, you got conned by the greatest con man in the 21st century America. Donald Trump's a person who had long deceived people, had built lots of people out of a lot of money. Trump University, there were contractors, lawsuits a mile long in the New York and New Jersey court system of people he didn't pay after they had done the work. It's not like we didn't know who or what Donald Trump was. And then he lost, he lied, he started an insurrection, he still insists on that. And as people sort of come to grips with reality, it's like, dude, he lied to you. And people are like, I can't believe it. You're a moron. You can't believe it. That's all the guy did was lie. Not that there's, I mean, listen, one of the things, Todd, I criticized the entire time Trump was in office was how stupid the media was.
Yeah.
You know, Trump's told 9 lies already this week. Oh, he's up to 55 lies. Hey, 100 lies. Oh, it's 1,000 lies. What are you going to win, a Pulitzer Prize for tracking the lies? Morons. No accountability for the lie, but there are 18 more lies today. We really got them. No, you don't. You don't. You've accepted that this guy's going to lie, not like a lot like a politician, but about everything that comes out of his mouth. And nobody held him accountable at all. And we wonder why he was like, screw it, I'm not leaving. You guys haven't done anything. They impeached me twice and didn't do anything. Why would I leave here? I like this place. Get some people that come down here, will take over the whole goddamn city. And they did it. It's insane.
So I don't even want to get into the January 6th thing. When we were talking about news, I'm like, that is something I care so little about because, I don't know, when you have like the 500 BLM riots and you have the one January 6th thing and everything is on that, I just can't agree with that. And not that it was right.
Listen, 600 people have been put in prison related to the BLM riots. And deservedly so. You can't do that in America. There's ramifications. You definitely can't do it at the Capitol. And the president of the United States definitely can't coordinate that shit at all. But don't forget that this was a guy who multiple times, breaking all sorts of ethics rules, would use the White House to host political events. Something no president had ever done before, that George Washington warned us would cause huge problems if it ever happened. And it happened, and nobody said anything, and then he didn't want to leave. Again, why would he?
Yeah,
I'm sure Trump thought, if we hold the Capitol for the afternoon, these pussies will just roll over and let me stay.
Yeah.
Might as well give it a shot. And he did. And it worked for like most of the day. Dude, think about this. This is how crazy this whole thing is. At 4:00, right, Trump finally puts out a tweet and tells them to go home. Calls them heroes. They did a great thing or whatever. And they all left. Can you imagine if at 4:00 Trump would have been like, burn that bitch down? Can you imagine what would have happened in those moments? That's how close this thing could have been to being like a really huge deal. Fortunately, he loves Ivanka that much that when she was like, Daddy, like, you got to send these bastards home, he was like, all right. And he did it. But he could have done the opposite. And good Lord knows what could have happened. Todd, that's a really bad thing. And it can never happen again. Ever. Oh, good Lord, dude. What are we, Panama?
Well, the good thing is if he gets in 2024, he knows he has to leave in 2020. He can't come back. All right, so let's get back to the Hunter laptop. Now, the other thing that I couldn't believe was, Jedi, did you see Mac sent an email to Rudy Giuliani? That's how Giuliani got a hold of this. But I kind of feel like if one of us sent an email to Rudy Giuliani, it wouldn't get read. That to me was a little bit suspicious. I think he might have the inside track or something.
Yeah, this is incredible, and dismiss it.
Yeah, totally.
I wouldn't even know how to go about getting in touch with Rudy Giuliani.
Exactly.
Right? And we talk to famous people. I wouldn't even know where to start with that guy. And you're right. I like to think if I sent Rudy Giuliani an email and I was like, hey, I got some evidence of foreign espionage by Hunter Biden, that he would be like, no, you don't.
Yeah, I know.
He would exactly. Just right? Like, come on. Dude, there's too much about this story that doesn't make sense. And again, I'm not saying that the Bidens haven't done anything illegal, because that has not been definitively proven either. Okay.
Mhm.
So by me saying there's no evidence or there's not reliable evidence, that's not the same as me saying I don't think they did anything wrong, because I definitely think they did. And I think they're going to get away with it.
Concrete about it.
Correct.
No, so Jedi, did you hear when the New York Post put out this article that Giuliani gave him? Twitter and Facebook implemented measures so you couldn't read about it. It was right before the election.
Yes, I mean, but I kind of believe that because Twitter censors stuff. You know, they if they don't like things, they just take it off. So I would believe that.
Oh, definitely, Joe.
Stop. Twitter doesn't like things. Twitter prevents the spread of misinformation.
But how do you know, though, Joe?
Especially around,
Misinformation.
because you have, listen, Jedi, facts are either proven or they're not.
Right, but none of this, what we're talking about, has been concrete. So they should take out everything.
Correct. So to publish a story and to say that you have factual information about this is horseshit. And Twitter doesn't allow people to publish knowingly false and damaging information. That could have a detrimental effect on the election. Again, the Justice Department right now is saying they're not going to they won't charge Trump with the insurrection until after the election, because they don't want to give away the suggestion that there's any political motivation involved. Which, to me, by pushing it, I think they're making it worse. I think that makes it look more political if you do wait. That's a more calculated move. I don't like that, and I don't trust that. But the Justice Department is very clear about things that could affect our elections. So it's not that Twitter doesn't like it; it's that it was false. It was not proven information. I'll tell you right now, they did the same thing with the Steele dossier. You couldn't publish that stuff on Facebook and Twitter because it wasn't verified. And to this day, most of it still isn't. And so
should they regulate it? Do you think that these social media...
They're not regulating it. You can't publish false information. Not to mention, that's what slander and libel is. If you're publishing false information that you know is false, again, we know we can prove things or not prove things. Right? But we know COVID's a real thing. So if you go on Twitter and you're like, COVID's not real, it's just like a minor flu, they're gonna block you. Because you're spreading information that's damaging to other human beings. Yes. It's not that they don't like a story. That's like so ridiculous.
I don't think Jedi and myself are convinced COVID's real. No, but the thing is, Jack Dorsey came out right after the election. He said, I made a mistake. This shouldn't have been blocked. And he acknowledged it like 2 weeks after the election.
Yeah, of course he waited till after the election to say it. He's trying to be a hero. If he was so full of integrity, he would have. I mean, he's the CEO of Twitter. He could have done it beforehand if he wanted to. So he's just playing both sides. Again, you guys got to stop falling for this Elon, the Elon. These guys are not your heroes either. They're not looking out for you guys at all. Not at all. They just want to insert themselves in the conversation to feel good about themselves. That's the reason why everybody hates Mark Zuckerberg, because it's become clear to everybody that Zuckerberg plays both sides.
Yes.
That's what he does. Because you know what? All of our rubles are green, and that's all he cares about. You know? It's all money at the end of the day, and that's all these people want from us is our money. They don't really give a shit one way or the other.
So, Jedi, did you see that the store owner lost his business? He was getting all sorts of death threats over this.
Yeah, I mean, I would be afraid too. I mean, wouldn't you? If just even if
I probably wouldn't have given public interviews though if I was worried about my safety.
And the other thing is, he wrote a book. You know that, right?
Of course he wrote a book. Not for nothing, but everybody in Trump's orbit has written a book. Everybody. There's a lot to write about. Yo, that's crazy. for a party that doesn't really push reading and education, a lot of books are coming out of the Trump administration. I will tell you that.
I have the name of the book here. Jedi, do you have the name of the book? I wrote it down somewhere.
No. Like,
Oh, I get it. American Injustice: My Battle to Expose the Truth.
I mean, listen. So in my fight with the Trump guy last night, he was like, facts or interpretation, and I was like, dude, stop being dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're not misinterpreting the facts here. The facts are one thing or the other. Okay, people that play fast and loose with facts are playing fast and loose with them. They're not giving you the straight facts. Okay, facts are facts. If, again, I think we can all agree, if the FBI had the password and the laptop and they knew it was Hunter's, and there was something on that laptop 18 months before the election, I'm pretty sure the Trump Justice Department and Rudy Giuliani, who's insane, would have unveiled that in time for the election. And listen, it's not like Trump is looking to hook up the Republican Party, Todd. So the idea that he would be holding an October surprise for these, he's raised $350 million in his super PAC. And you know how much he's donated to Republican congressional campaigns so far?
How much?
$350K.
The Bernie house.
Yeah, dude, he's not worried about hooking the Republican Party up with that. Was for him, and it's a nothing burger, which sucks because I promise you, the Bidens did some shit.
Yeah,
that kid made a lot of money, and I know he smoked most of it, but he made a lot of money, and there's no way that legally could have happened. And it's a shame that these people have screwed with this laptop so much that it's going to be an unreliable piece of evidence in a court, because they're going to get away with stuff here, and it's bullshit. And again, these politics got to stop dipping their hands in the evidence, because it only hurts the cases. Maybe not in the eyes of the public, but in an actual court where integrity of evidence matters. You know what I mean? And so they're jeopardizing the criminal cases to try to win what, guys? Votes.
No, maybe
That's
everything is fake news. Everything we hear, and then the truth will come out in the court case.
That's why Joe Biden's president.
So I think we're all in agreement. There is a laptop. The Bidens did something wrong, but there's just so much stuff out there we just are never going to know.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that his father is currently the president certainly makes whatever penalty he might be facing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it would be one thing if this came out when anyone else was president. Like, oh, Hunter Biden did what? But his father's the president. Like, nothing bad's happening to that guy, unfortunately. And I will tell you this, Todd. I think Hunter Biden is the biggest scumbag in the Democratic Party since Anthony Weiner. This guy's in some rarefied air.
Yeah.
This guy is seriously a piece of shit.
He's head and shoulders above Weiner, too.
Yeah, just one more time for anybody that doesn't know, he's also banging his dead brother's wife. Right. That's what a piece of shit Hunter Biden is. Okay. The evidence just isn't there to nail him against the wall, unfortunately. But I'm certain that a scumbag like that guy, and dude, again, his father's a dipshit. His father might have been an unwitting participant, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And we're never really gonna know.
Right.
And I think it's really unfortunate, and I'm tired of politicians constantly screwing up court cases with hearings when actual judges and lawyers and juries can really hash this stuff out and dole out appropriate punishments.
And I was,
because that's what would happen to us, regular people in the real world. We don't get congressional hearings. We just go to court and we get whatever penalty we get.
Right.
And I was reading some text between Hunter Biden. He was in a New Haven hotel or something, and it was a sex worker texting him and said, "I got some brand new girls. They're so hot. $100 to $200 for the night." I'm like, that's it? This guy's never gonna stop that lifestyle. $100 to $200. That's it.
Well, you get what
I
you
didn't
pay
realize-
for.
Dude, you would think with inflation too
Yeah, I know.
that them ladies of the night would be a little more expensive, but geez.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Jedi, do you have anything else on this?
No, the only thing is that I've heard that Matt Isaac is filing suit against CNN. He's suing them for defamation because they're accusing him of distributing Russian misinformation.
And the big thing with him is they said he was a hacker, and that's like a death sentence if you work at a computer shop. And he's like, I'm not a hacker. I just typed in the password.
Here's the big problem for this guy. Okay. He is an untrustworthy character if there ever was one. I don't like people whose stories change. And from his own mouth, there's been 3 versions of how this all went down. And I don't know. I don't know how you guys like. He just doesn't being blind also, but trying to identify somebody. Like, dude,
Yeah.
there's so much about this where it's like, oh my God, dude, could you find somebody less credible that could have seen this? Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Could the guy have at
first-
least not been blind? That was the eyewitness, for Christ's sake. Really?
Yeah, I know.
I thought you said don't discriminate.
I was lying. Totally discriminate. This is America. You know that. Dude, right?
all
I
right.
mean, think
Yeah.
about like the best. You're a lawyer, and it's like, oh, we got an eyewitness. Oh, this case should be a slam dunk, and you're like, bring in the eyewitness, and it's a blind guy. You're like, oh shit, this is not going to play well with the jury. You know,
Right.
Mr. Jenkins, can you identify the suspect? And the guy's looking the wrong way because he's blind. He doesn't see. He's not a good eyewitness. I like blind people. Let me say, I really like the blind.
Oh man. All right. So yeah, I think that does it. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Crimes, Conspiracies, and Beyond, Clovercrest Media. Joe, how many podcasts are you up to now?
44.
Wow. And how many of them do you come on the show with the people like you do with us?
I'm only on 11 currently.
Wow. Only.
Yeah. I've done 4 podcasts. This is my 4th podcast today that I've been on.
Oh,
Yeah. It's been an awesome day.
Yeah. Cool.
You know
all
what
right.
my favorite one is?
Oh, let me guess.
It's this one.
Nice.
crimes,
that to-
conspiracies, and
Tell that to
beyond.
3 different people today. They're like, which one's your favorite? And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, it's actually my conspiracy theory show that I produce. I'm like, I got to be on the show and I love doing it.
Cool.
And I do.
Yay.
So thank you.
Yeah, it's fun. We have fun. This is what, 55, I think, Jedi.
Yeah.
I remember we were first getting started and we were like, oh my God, I can't wait to get 4 or 5 shows under our belt.
Old veterans now.
Well, Marks, the end is here for us, average Joes, not for Hunter Biden, apparently. So keep your head up and have a beautiful day. Bye.
There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit Shamrock Home